Okay, welcome to this oil painting lesson. Now, if you want to support my channel, please check out my Patreon. You find a link in description and on my channel. And with this, I wish you a happy painting lesson. Hello YouTube, it's me again, Knut Andre Vikshåland. I am going to start on a small rose painting that is going to be the first gift to my patrons. I'm actually gonna do a lottery on Patreon every month, and I'm gonna give away a small painting. It's only 23 patrons now, so I will give away one small painting a month to them. As it grows, I will start to grow the gifts, or the lottery gifts. So I'm gonna paint this small rose. On this, I'm just gonna paint it here, and the shadows and the details. So it's gonna be quite small, very centered, quite subtle, and it's gonna be quite enjoyable, I think, to make this one. This one is actually 20.20 centimeters plus the frame. So the ones I will usually do will be a little bit smaller because the prices are quite high for these paintings from galleries. So I'm not actually earning any money on this now. So, but it's kind of a fun thing to do anyway. I'm not going in plus. That's probably what I want to say. Anyway, I'll post this full video tutorial of the painting process on my YouTube channel, and I will show you the finished results and do a little lottery. So stay tuned, and if you like to be a part of my Patreon, there's a link on my YouTube channel, so please go and check it out. So thank you very much. Okay, here we go. Rose painting. It's quite small, and I want to keep it that way, so I need to be a little bit careful when I sketch. Yeah, I'm just gonna start placing. I want it to be a little bit centered, and it can't be this big. It has to be approximately, I can actually measure the size of it, and that is basically like this. I want to do it a little bit smaller because I want also the leaves to be in it. It's kind of, the leaves are, let me see, well, this kind of one, this is one. Maybe I could put it a little bit higher and then a little bit lower here, so I get a little bit more. It's quite fun to do small things like this. There's also the background, all the textures, and you have the shadows that hits on the side there, and there's a lot of different things happening. The textures in the flower and the different colors. Also set a very brutal light on it. I've actually heard somewhere that people like Rembrandt and the classics actually they used lamps and mirrors, and they took daylight and blocked out the windows, but had some openings that sent light into the canvas and then on the model or the objects they were painting to get that classical lighting that I do love very much. So but nowadays we can use fluorescent lights in the middle of the night. Like now it's basically 12 in the evening, and I will keep on painting until basically 7 or 8 in the morning. Then I sleep like for a few 8 hours, and then I do my stuff. It's good training to keep it in that, not go too big, try to be a little bit careful, small, so it's a different feeling. Okay, let's see now. There. Right behind there. I can see that the background and the flower has, in a way, much of the same colors, but they are on different levels of warmth and stuff like that. So yeah, so that is how I need to do this. There's a leaf coming here. Coming there, and here, and this. So the different colors still. Just sketching now, trying to get it right. And it's the molding process that goes several layers. Goes in like this, I think, and then here, the leaves, so basically here, like this, and up here, I think. Yes, like this. Is approximately, I will change this many times before it's finished. The thing is, it would be quite empty without the shadows hitting here on the wall. That kind of makes it up for the unbalance in the, there should have been maybe one more leaf, but the light that comes here will kind of balance. There's some greenish in this that comes in here, and therefore it kind of balances up the shadows on that side. So in the composition you get quite a good balance because of the different things that is happening. Now I did some mistakes here. You can see at once actually it comes more in here and closer. But that is stuff I can fix easily. That is the thing with doing on freehand when you don't use photographs and you don't use any other things than your eyes. You have to be very conscious of what you do, and yeah, try to see the mistakes once. So it's like charcoal, really, for me. In the beginning, I see there's a lot of people who are using the gazelle method with only nuances, but I really don't care about that because this is just a detour. I like to go right on with colors and can just place things. Yeah. The shadow comes down here, actually. I find it quite interesting to try to get the whole sketching process in, but I don't know. Maybe you people could tell me what you think. Just see what's happening. What's happening? Maybe I should make some shorter videos. It's funny, there's videos out there on YouTube that I've seen so many times, and they aren't even good painters. It's strange that. But I guess it's kind of, if you get it into the algorithm, it's like some of my videos I've seen many times and others not. So anyway. So it's very helpful if you share my videos on social media and you put them into your playlists and you share it with your arty friends. The more views, the more YouTube pushes them into the algorithm, and the more it gets. Leaf. It's going to be difficult. I can feel it already. But in the end, they usually turn out quite well. There's some green, reds. I just need to get the right drawing in. And then this one goes. I don't remember what the leaves of the flower. It has a name. I can't really remember it now. Crones? Oh, I don't know. Hard to remember. Krone? I may think that's the name for it. Now, it's a horrible pencil. You would actually need a smaller pencil for this. It doesn't. Yeah. No, I need to buy new pencils tomorrow. I'm just gonna mess it up a little bit. See if I can. I can't use this one either. Maybe I should use some smaller ones in the beginning. Like this. They're all kind of, when it becomes like this, start open up, and I'm not taking good enough care of my pencils, and that's always been a problem. If I paint a lot, it's just I keep forgetting. So there's some red inside here because of the lights. There's red in there. There's a light line here. Like this. That's a darker. This was actually more difficult than I thought. So sometimes I think that things are going to be really easy, and then it turns out not to be so easy after all. I'm just gonna put in some of the background. Maybe I get some more. I can see more how it's when I compare. Yeah, see the whole thing. There's gonna be textures and building textures. Now it's pink, it's not pink. God, this was really annoying. I had to find a fucking pencil that works. This one. Really need to go to the store tomorrow. The light source comes from up here, so I just go over the whole thing. And as it comes longer down, it becomes more orange-like and reddish. With some, that is with the lasur I put on. I get also the blue. There's blue in it. There's, because there has to be some blue in it because the things here are quite reddish and orange. So there has to be some. Press it down. When it becomes this small, it really presses my skill wall. The light is very strong on this side, so that it will be the main focus in the end. Actually, I can see that the background is actually dragging down, but I'm going to do it this way first, and then when I drag down the next layers, I can get this textures upon each other and gives a better, more texture and more life to the surface. Very strong shadow here. And there's a shadow down here. It goes almost all the way in. Probably from that leaf. Yeah. It's from that leaf. And therefore they are kind of bound together. There. Yeah. This is what I call a griselle, what they call it. Probably French, I don't know. Let's get some more life into it. With acrylic paint you can actually finish a painting in one day, because, or in one go, because you can keep painting on top of it. But I don't like the acrylic feeling. It's kind of like taking pictures with digital camera in contrast to traditional cameras that I love to use. Actually, I now saw that the shadows is more out here actually, and goes a little further down. I do my art photography with a Pentax RZ67 usually, and it gives this beautiful painted feel to the photographs, which of course helps me in my painting. Now I think painting still lifes and roses like this is very important for teaching you how to see. It's crucial. It helped me so much, and I really love it. And I have so many great objects that I should paint. I have a freezer full of dead animals and birds and heads, and no humans though. But yeah, you can't have human heads in your freezer. But I could actually go to an atomic institute and ask to paint dead people. I know a guy, Sverre Bjertnæs, a Norwegian artist. He used to do that. Quite good figurative artist, quite famous. It must have been interesting having a head placed in front of you, especially with me thinking so much about death and existence and everything every day. It's almost like I'm on a strange form of countdown to my own demise, and I think about death basically every day, all the time, in a way, in some way. I compare it with a bus ride. Life is a bus ride, and when you get there, there is no bus stop. You're not going off the bus. You just, both you and the bus just disappear into and become, in the end, atoms, and that becomes other stuff, other living beings. And then, sooner or later, even the universe will dissolve into nothing, which of course is nothing. It will dissolve, all the atoms will dissolve, and it will become a sea of subatomic particles standing still in, how was it? In absolute zero. So the universe will then suddenly, someday, in the future, stop to just stop. And in theory, it will stay like that forever. It's a very long time to, it's not the calculus is, if you took all the atoms of the universe and you counted them as 1 year, there's not enough atoms in our visible universe to calculate. If you counted every atom as a year, there won't be enough atoms in the universe to count the years until that happens. So it is a long time until. So since I only live or exist for basically, on average 80 years, that shouldn't concern me much. But it is funny because think about the dinosaurs. I mean, existence existed for them too. They probably didn't know they exist, but they did, and without us there wouldn't even be anyone to dig them out of the ground and point to the fact that these beings actually existed. So they would have, if we never arose and intelligence on this planet never arose, it would be like they had never existed. No one would ever have seen them, not even them, because seeing yourself demands introspection and consciousness. So, and it doesn't look like the dinosaurs had anything that could be compared to human consciousness. The dinosaurs didn't plan their future. Probably a good thing since they are now extinct. Anyway, blah blah blah. Painting. You see now I'm starting to build it more. Starting to figure out where things are going to be, because I gave it that background, some reference points. But it's going to be a rough sketch. There's not going to be anything finished, or it won't look finished in any way. But I'll try to make it as nice as I can. But I need better pencils. That is so important. Just put in some light. It's gonna be... This leaf is actually... it's small. It's a dry leaf, so it doesn't really have so much. It doesn't have vivid colors, so the colors I put on now is more vivid than they are going to be in the end. Oh, it's not bad. Now my arthritis is killing me, so I need to take a small break and stretch my legs from here. Cracking. I was training very hard taekwondo today, so my legs are a little bit sore. I'm gonna do an operation and get a new hip. I'm making a tutorial about that too. Hip replacement video of artist and painter Knut Andre Vikshåland. That could be something. I'm gonna see if I can get the hip bone on a glass and paint it. Yeah, that's also okay. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break and just keep on sketching after that. Okay. Layer number 2. Not layer number 2, but sketch process. Yeah, okay. Okay, I need to dampen down some of the surroundings. I see over here is too bright, and I need to push that down. And I might want to go this direction so it doesn't shine so much. And maybe this one. To say. Let's see. Maybe I've been fooling myself a little bit. I don't know. Yeah. And shadows has to be the thing is that as you kind of build it, it kind of starts to fall into place. See where I'm doing some mistakes and stuff here. Yes. We went too high with this one. See now, and it's a bigger difference. To push down the shadows a little bit. Now what I'm using then is always the same. It's kind of blue, black. Maybe a little bit of black, and then some other. It depends. But never that much black that you actually lose the, it becomes a dead surface. One has to remember that black can easily become a dead surface. So you have to learn how to use it without killing the colors. And it's not that easy. But in the end, people usually get it. This is very thin, so okay, I'm going to work a little bit more on the rose so that I start to see a little bit better. This one goes behind, comes out on this side, so there's also colors in the stilk, as it's called in Norway. Then again, I don't need to worry about that right now. Okay. Let's see. Okay, all of this was wrong. So this one comes out here. It is more difficult for me to actually see and focus when I'm talking, so I think this sketch became a little bit more chaotic because I was talking when I'm painting. Okay. That's the wrong color. Definitely. It's supposed to be greenish. Reddish actually. So then we have this. Coming down here. Okay. And this one. The problem is here now actually is some lights here and here, all the way behind here. Then the shadows comes down here, and is a lighter in the background, so it explains that shape. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off the camera now, I think. I'm just gonna paint for a while and then I'm gonna come back and show you what happened. So it's difficult. There it's reddish. Yeah. It's a flower. Mm-hmm. See, it's kind of, I'm just inching my way closer and closer and closer to the shape I'm after, and yeah, that is the way to do it. You just keep on working, keep building. It's gonna be tough getting this right, actually, because the nuances are so small. Background, the foreground. See, now it's starting slowly to take a little bit more shape. Here, here. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this must go further down. It's not going to be that light either. Just going to go further down here. Like this. Just keeps going. And this goes here, it goes out on this side. You can see a little bit of it behind there too. So these are the things that I fight with for many hours. Well, I'm kind of starting to look like a flower, getting the right shape. There's a ton of light here, so I'm just gonna throw in some more light, which means at this point only white, because yeah, it's not this greenish or screamish. It's more neutral. It's dry, so it's more neutral. See, I'm following the directions. And there's this one, comes in here, further down. Yay! And this one comes out here and goes in there. This one goes down there and in there. It's strange how we can teach the brain to see shapes or to repeat shapes like this. The scientist ape. It's funny. So just looks like chaos now, but I guarantee you that it will be more rational later. So if it was a bigger sketch or a bigger motif, it's easier to get the shape of a more vibrant sketch, maybe. It's so hard to tear myself away from it when I get going. It's a strange feeling. And see there. Okay, like this. Yeah, okay, I need just to get into my flow, so I'm going to turn off that so I can actually go deeper into it. Hey, I've been working for a while. The sketch is a little bit more difficult than I thought, and so much detail, so I think I just have to let it dry as it is now, so that I can build on this because there are limits to how much detail I can put into it now, and I need to keep building the light and the things around and shadows and all kinds of shit. But I feel that I'm on the right track and it's going to be fun. There's a lot of stuff also happening behind in the background, and it's also going to be quite fun to work with. And it's the nuances are, except from the light areas, it's very subtle, so it's a little bit different than I usually work with. And there are blue, there are grey, there are directions, there are stuff happening in that surface. You can actually scrape some in it, you could actually make stuff happening all around it. So there are actually limits to how far I can pull this. I see people are, working with people who is working very photographic, has a certain technique, and they usually keep it very flat. There's not much texture, there's no overpaint, there's no depth to them. That looks good, but there's no real... they're not heavy, to put it that way. So I want it to be more sculptural. I want it to kind of come out of the surface. I want it to come and get me, as I usually say. So that is what I want to do. Build until it comes out and get me. Like a sculpture kind of falls out of a picture, the painting. So much happening, so many all these small things that are happening inside here. And I'm sorry to say I can't do it now because it can't actually absorb more paint. So let it dry, and yeah. So tempting, it's so hard to tear myself away from it. There's always something more. I think that is one of the things that makes me so calm when I'm painting, because my whole focus is on this. There's no noise in my head, there's no doubt or any, just flow. It's going to be a sad thing to leave existence, because it is beautiful. Someday, sooner I think, it will be my turn to leave to depart. So strange. Anyway, I'm not gonna fuck it up anymore now, because I see now I start to doubt everything, and I'm actually start to make the flower bigger, and that's never a good sign. So because I tend to just keep on, and then this has to be bigger. So I'm just gonna leave it and let it dry, and then I'm gonna paint more on it later. See? Yeah, okay. So here we go. Layer number 2. So I need to put on the lasur as usual, and I don't know, brushes that I fucked up, yes. So I'm going over it with, it's not all dry there. It takes a while because before they dry. So it's been a few days, but I'm just gonna go over it with some reddish and blue as usual, and just tone it down, and I will then bring it up again afterwards. Since it's not dry there, I have to be careful. Maybe I paint a small onion next time. I'm not sure. See now suddenly colors comes out more because I darken down the background. Okay. Just put it in a little bit. And paint. Let's see, there. I bought some new brushes. So this is not Da Vinci. It's just some I buy in Claes also. So they're quite cheap, but they're good. So see, I want to start to know where to start right now, but that is the thing, you just start and you keep on painting. You just see what happens. I know this painting is going to be a little bit difficult, so I'm just going to enhance some of the light areas. See, now it's like has now the color from the lasur in it, so it's going to be a little bit fluid in the beginning, but then I will start adding more and more paint, so yeah. It's not going to be that fresh. It has this texture, this dry taste. It has to be a dry, kind of a dry feeling, but it's hard with oil to get that feeling of dryness, because the oil will make everything look a little bit glossy, and yeah. That's why they are cheap, because you're losing here. That is not good. Yeah. Have to be a little bit careful with this one. And then I will bring out some of the light, so I have a reference point. The other ones I'm using is better. Da Vinci is much better than this, because I can feel there's a difference in how it kind of the feedback from the brush is quite important, so you have to find the brush that gives you the right shall I say, it's almost like a bouncing ball in a way. You don't want it to bounce too much, and you don't want it to bounce too little. See, now it's starting to come alive just a little bit. Then again, it's a lot of detail. So to mix in a lot of different colors, so in the end they will compete with one another like they do in nature. Different, I think I want to do a round pencil. This is also a hog here, but it's kind of has some better dynamic to it because it's of course Da Vinci. I like them for some reason. They have different qualities too, so you get them in very kind of not so expensive ones to be expensive. So I need to get some reddish in there. And because there's a chrome comes down there. Underneath here is kind of blue because of the complementary contrast. What kind of blue, of course, always stands in contrast to what orange or what reds or which is around it, so you just have to learn how to use your eyes. You know, this is kind of, this light is smacking right up, and then there's a shadow that comes around like down here that creates that, but it isn't that dark, so I need to mix it with some orange. Ooh, it's really small. This is how I will keep on having the different nuances kind of melt. After a while I will more and more have the colors melt into one another, so you don't see the transfusions from let's not see how it works. Yeah. And this one is not really there, so I'm just gonna remove that. Get some colors from the surroundings, and then all the way in from behind there, and here it is in the blue again. So and green actually. It's kind of these strange colors, but it's deep, so I was fooling myself now for a sec. And it's also important to get some orange into that, because if I can, now I can actually mix the colors on the canvas, kind of drag them together. It's very hard to find exactly the colors you are looking for when it's this small. Actually, my eyesight has been better. I have become a little bit long-sighted, so I actually see the flower over there. I see that quite clearly, but I don't really. I have to kind of go away a little bit when I'm looking at the flower. So. But it's life, I guess. I'm getting old, so. Okay, and there's some light also coming into this. And this goes underneath here. Okay. This one comes actually out there, so I need to remove that one too. That is how I build. I do not do this perfect sketch. I just keep building as I go along, moving stuff around. This one goes all the way up here, and shadows behind there, there. It would have been easier if I chose a background that was less similar to the colors in the flower. And again, easy is not necessarily better. So, yeah. See, step by step, trying to get closer. This kind of concentration is quite exhausting mentally, but it is also extremely rewarding. So, I want to enhance the background a little bit more. Use this one. Just a little dirty it up. Dirty it up. To use the background to explain the flower. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth. Finding the right hue, the right color, the right texture. So a lot of things. Now it's kind of too bright. Too dark. Just a fucking mess. The small details here, I can actually put them on in the end so it doesn't confuse me too much. See, I need more. Okay, I need to concentrate. So. We'll do layer upon layer upon layer until I find the right color. That was a nice color. It doesn't fit here. Nice stroke, actually. Some of the things that can happen when you paint, suddenly you see some brush stroke. There could actually be a contrast to that. Just let it stay. But I'm not going to do that now. Oops. Because it's not the right hue. I don't use knives so much. I usually only use the pencils. I used to use more knives. I don't know why I changed that. Hard to say. The shadow is longer away from flower. It's down here. So now you see how start to see how actually time consuming just a small piece like this can be. Oops. I can drag it, kind of draw it like this to get a more fluid effect. And I'll keep doing that. Also put more detail into the background as I go along. See how the oil now that I put on is mixing into the color, so you get this fluid brush stroke. That's quite nice. And there's a lot of coincidences happening when I paint. Suddenly I work and I can't figure out how to make it come together, and suddenly things just fall into place, and I often doesn't even know why. But it's the same thing, you just have to keep painting. And yeah. That was totally wrong. It's because I'm not concentrating. Because I'm talking too much. So, I'm gonna stop that. So, it is taken a while, but I kind of think it has fallen a little bit more into place, starting to become shape, and yeah, I've given it some more. I'm actually going to use this a little bit because I need to give it, shake it up a little bit, because there are actually some stuff happening in the background of this, and shaking stuff up a little bit can actually be a good thing. So anyway, you see, I've been concentrating a little bit more, and it's starting to become a little bit more understandable, or getting some grip of the whole thing. There's a very nice line or crack in the wood, because it's kind of this thin wood that is in the background, and there is a crack in it that goes all the way down here. I will put that more in later and work with it, because it is kind of things like this that gives the painting that little extra. Some kind of becomes a point of reference in a way. Kind of build out the sides there. start building textures in the background, and you know, just keep on building. Anyway, it's always nice with a reference point. Kind of repeats the shape, repeats the textures, that's more correct to say. And I have to move this one a little bit more out, so as you see, and yeah, so then it became the right size. It has been growing a little bit. It wasn't actually meant to grow, but it's very easy for that to happen, and as long as I keep it within the realm of reason, I think I can live with it. So I'm getting more organic shapes. This one is very thin, and this one is behind it, like this. And yeah, also stuff happening in the background here, small things. So will also be reference points, like in the shadow there is some stuff happening here. So there will be different reference points, different textures in the background, and all in all it will actually become quite nice, because it won't only be the flower, it will also be the background and everything that is happening in the background. So yeah, you can see now that it can actually become quite nice. I was starting to doubt it there for a while, but I think I have saved it. Yeah. I've put in a lot of color now, and it is basically time to let it dry. Just going to be kind of under there. And this comes here. And goes kind of in there. Yeah, that one is important. So now we're starting to slowly come alive. So goes behind there. Anyway, I don't want to fuck it up now. Just gonna put in some more. Yeah, I need some more color. That's not enough. It's very orange up there where the light hits the surface most. It's almost the same as the flower, just a little bit different hue. Here you see to get the brush strokes, how I give it more texture. I have to kind of compare the two different colors. It's funny, one can actually keep on doing this again and again and again. You'd come a little bit closer every time. Tone this down a little bit. See now, let me give it a little bang here. See that? Boom, boom. I have to kind of dampen that out now. Dampen it down a little bit. It's getting fun because now I'm starting to play around with the surface. Going into now I'm using the surface I see as a reference point, as a reference. But I kind of play around with it. I don't make it totally perfect as it looks. I just use it to play around with the colors. So in a way it is a form of, yeah, I'm just inventing textures. That was maybe a little bit too much because that is also, if I take one like that, it works very nice. But if I overdo it, that kills this one. And that wasn't the point. So then you have to go back in and pull it down again. You don't want to take over the whole thing. That's how beautiful these small, how it starts to come alive because of these small things I do. Becomes holistic. Okay, until so another day and another layer. I'm gonna go over it and put in some more details. But first, as usual, I do the laser with my blue and reddish color. Enhance it a little bit. Get it back up from oblivion. Maybe a little bit bigger brush. So I'm not using any retouche funnies here because it's so small, and I'm actually just gonna go over it like this with oil and a medium. I'm gonna go in and just enhance different parts. Maybe I should focus a little bit closer to, so before I'm finishing it. So, you see, I just take a little bit down, so I take off the excess oil. It is mostly turpentine in this, so it dries fairly quickly. And the cicative, cobalt cicative in the oil, it's kind of linseed oil with some cobalt cicative. I don't really know what that is, but it's something that makes it dry a little bit faster. But then again, if you don't put on too thick layers, it will dry quite fast anyway. And if you put it into a hotter room or even over an oven, it will dry even faster. If you put it into a fridge, it will probably never dry. It will dry very, very slowly. Let's see. Try to give it a little bit. It's kind of reddish in the tone. If you see my stuff on YouTube and you have some opinion about it, even if it's a bad opinion, I appreciate that you tell me. So, but there are some people who are just rude, and that is just ridiculous. There are some people in the world that actually believe that people are affected by their rudeness. Maybe some people are, but I'm not one of them, so you're kind of preaching to the wrong person. I like constructive criticism. We all should welcome that, but don't be rude. It just isn't necessary. rudeness, you don't even have to take it seriously at all. Subjective opinion is actually only subjective opinion. And if there's just one single person in the world that disagrees, that person is equally right about something, as long as there is no objective standard to measure what is right or wrong. So that's the problem with a lot of people. They really don't know the difference between their own subjective opinion and objective reality. And it's funny because sometimes in a discussion, or I ask people, when I hear they don't know the difference between objectivity and subjectivity, if they know the difference between objectivity and subjectivity, and they usually say, oh yeah, and I explain it to them what it is, and they say yeah, and then right after that, they again start babbling about their opinions, even about the universe and objective reality. So no, they didn't know the difference between objective reality and subjective belief. And remember, all introspection or self-doubt and self-reflection starts at that point with knowing the difference between subjective reality and objective opinion. And so please leave a comment, but also remember, if it is just, would anyone buy this crap or something like that, and the answer is actually yeah. A lot of people are buying this crap, and they are paying quite good money for it too. So maybe it isn't crap. Maybe it's a little bit crap, but not all out crap. Or maybe it's some crap in a sort of way that some people don't think it's crap, but other people do think it's crap. And then we have the subjective thing again. And the whole conversation is just totally and utterly pointless. What is a good painting? Well, that depends on what you measure it, how you measure it. If you are measuring what is a good painting compared to the use of all the aspects of classic painting techniques, then you have the objective standard to measure it. But if you don't have that, there is no way you can measure it. It's the only way you can measure anything. It is from some objective standard. And it has to be rooted in technique and skill, or results. Like in science, you can measure reality from the results and how it affects our real world. So yeah, don't think your own opinions are truth. They are subjective truth. your truth, not objective truth. If you compare my paintings to paintings like Vermeer or Rembrandt, even I would agree at some level they are a long way from home. Not directly crappy, but I do have a long road until I would even suggest that I was coming close to anything like the best of the best in art history. So, since I use that as my objective standard, the best of not modern art, but art in history, I know, or try to know, because it's really hard to know because we are so subjective, where I stand. And I might say that I'm over if you have a line from zero skill to Rembrandt, I might be at 50% or maybe a little bit over. And I have a long way to go. And I will probably not reach it. I think I might reach 70 or maybe even 80 if I work hard for the next. But then some people will come to me and say, oh no, you are at 100% already, or blah blah blah. But then I will say, no, I'm not. I'm actually not. And if you were able to see what I see, which most people isn't, because they haven't trained their eyes to see, they would say, okay, now we can see that. We can see that you lack this and this and this. And yeah. And that is a problem with modern art, with conceptual art, that you have no objective standards, so it always is about subjective opinion. And therefore I find it's basically not interesting for me at all, actually, because then I would rather follow science and things that are objectively really good. So that was a rant about art while I'm painting. Yeah, you see I'm shaping it now, a little bit more, a little bit here, a little bit there, and I will close down the video and I will keep painting, and I will film a little bit more later. Also light coming in here, so now I'm kind of enhancing the light and the textures. Getting some life into it. So, yeah. We'll try to make it open up a little bit so it's not stiff. It is a dry flower, so it seems a little bit stiff, and actually a dry flower is actually quite stiff, so it's not that easy to get life into something that is kind of already dead. But I'll try to get the colors to beam and come to life. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Okay. So, okay, I'm trying to go in for the last layer. It is small things, small adjustments, places, lights, strengthening colors, kind of give it a little bit of a bang. It's very difficult actually, because it's so, when I'm looking at it, it is quite far away from me, so it's hard for me to pick up all the details. But I mean, you just have to. The flower is so small, and I also want to do some. See here now, kind of rejected the oil. It was almost like an aqua color. That was. I don't want to push it too far down. I need my glasses, because I think I got a little bit too much sugar, and it affects my eyes. I actually had some fish soup, and the basis of it was one of these packages, and they tend to have a little bit too much salt and sugar, and I got into this sugary craving thing, which I really hate. It's when you have an eating but you feel hungry, and it actually affects my eyesight. Strange, almost strange things happening when you get older. Just going to give it a little bit of a bang. There are some light on top of here too. So it is kind of it becomes a little bit cartoonish, maybe. Maybe a little bit over real. And that's fine. To have some light coming from here up there. I think it must be something like that, because it's a point of light underneath there that gives it that shape. So I started out this for my patrons, and I almost regret that I didn't do something easier, because I always, when I do these dry flowers, I usually get into trouble. It's almost like I can't get it right, and keep on spending a hell of a lot of time on it. But then again, it's nice for the patrons to get some, or for the one who wins the painting, to get something a little bit nice. So why not? There's also there. Yeah, it's fucking difficult. It mustn't be too stiff. It mustn't be too this or too that. So. Fuck. It's almost like I can't get enough. I'm so careful now because if I put too much color on my pencil, it's gonna fuck it up. If I don't put enough on it, nothing's happening. So I need this to go away for some. How? God. I want to make my big paintings again. Honestly. I have many big paintings waiting to be finished. So, it's better. So this is how it is when I get to this point where I desperately try not to fuck it up. I try to get that classical light without destroying the dynamic in it. And that is very difficult because if you put on too much white, it just dies, and it's so hard to kind of find it again. But then if you don't put on enough or put enough color into it, it just feels small. Should also do something with the background to get it more lively. And I can't really see from here what's happening up here, so I just have to make an impression of it. Because there is some stuff happening up there. Like this, behind there, this, here. That was kind of better, I think. Shit. Well, I think you get the point by now. How I'm just inching myself kind of closer and closer and trying to figure out how to keep it alive, as I also try to give it some intensity and punch, some because if you only paint things very flat and very sketchy, you never come to this problem. You never reach the point. You never reach your skill wall. You never reach the problem. The first sketch is so nice. It's like instant gratification. It's like pizza over salmon or salmon. It's red wine over diet beer, but non-alcoholic beer. But when you go deeper, it becomes so much harder. You start building that shape, and all your mistakes starts to show. And it's like that every time. So if you can avoid becoming a painter, I would recommend it. Just kidding. You can have it as a hobby, but even as a hobby, if you're a person of integrity and truthfulness, and that has this need to push things in yourself a little bit further than average, you will always meet that wall at some point in almost whatever you do. It can be training, can be music, can be anything. So it just comes with the territory. If you're a more superficial person, you won't get into that trouble. So okay, I'm just gonna also do something with the background, just so you see what I mean. Well, there's one thing about my paintings. No one can excuse it. No one can say I didn't try. Accuse me of not trying, because I'm really trying. And I think it shows, actually. See, now I mix the colors in the canvas like that. Try to find, also give the background some texture. Or if you don't do that, it will just be a dead surface, and that is so boring. It just seems like a hole, like it lacks something. So I don't want that. I want it to be a little bit alive. So I can pick up some small things in the background and use them to make some more intuitive textures, not necessarily exactly as it is, but something that feels like it's there. Yeah. Or you can go all the way and you can try to paint in absolutely everything. Of course, that will be. I want to create this line, as you see now, because it gives it kind of a natural feel to it. Then I go in with a small shadow in between, so we get this small crack, and of course a light hits there, so it feels like a more natural crack in wood. It is more like a veneer, the thing. It's not really wood, it's not real wood, it's more like compressed stuff. But it kind of has the same feel to it. You see how that kind of lifted it just by doing that. I lifted it a little bit up. Do a little bit of the same here. Then now I actually do mix colors directly on the canvas, and there's also a line there, so and this kind of red and more reddish, so I want to make this one. I just put in a brush stroke as a link in a way. You just put in stuff and you start going over into the intuitive, and you start to, you don't want to do too much, because if you do too much it just feels like chaos. So you want to keep it down but try to bring it to life at the same time. So I have to do something with this. It can't be that hard. I might try and do a little bit like this to bring it out. And I can actually enhance these shadows. That will also help. And then I can work a little bit around them. And I can also like this. And yeah. And I can push it down again. Just so you see how, or not how, but why this at this point starts to take a lot of time, because you have to work slow and you have to be a little bit conscious of what brush strokes you put in, and you don't want to overkill it or overdo it. Yeah. And this goes out very thin, but that was too much. Or was it? So I just bring it. Yeah, no, that was totally fucked. So then I can actually do like this, sharpen it. So now it starts to feel a little bit more natural. And I want to push it down a little bit. And I go in and I do like this. And this is how I keep working now with this for a few hours, and then I will show you the result in the end. Hopefully I could be able to finish this today, but that is usually a little bit uncertain if I can do that. So see, now I just enhance it a little bit, then I pick up the colors and I push it down. That way I work kind of both ways. I get the clarity, but I also try to make a more natural feel to it. And in the end, every time I touch it like this, I come closer and closer and closer and closer to something that feels a little bit subtle. And maybe a little bit cartoonish, or almost like you say when you make they make these cartoons, funny cartoons of politicians and stuff. Well, I can't remember the name now. So it becomes a kind of almost ironic representation of what I actually was looking at. I don't know, maybe I'm just babbling now. But it is not photographic, okay? That is the point I'm after. I'm not even a photographic painter. So, oh, your painting looks like photographs. No, they don't really. If you see them in real life, you can see all the paint, and if you actually compare them to the photographs, they are quite different. And, so to me it's more like the photo is more a tool to play with the colors. Now I'll bring it up again. See, I piled on some more textures. Then I go back and forth in light and dark until I reach a point where I kind of feel that this is where I want to be. It's a difficult color because these leaves usually are green, but this is dried, so it has this dry greenish thing over it. That is hard to see what actually is. Okay, see now. There. I think this is starting to become quite full. Okay. Okay. I have been working, as you can see, for a few hours, and I think I'm almost finished. I might want it to dry a little bit and then go in with the kill, because now I'm at a point where it's really not possible to put in more color. Just need to get my glasses. I worked around making textures, doing all kinds of adjustments. It is really important to get the textures to live, and I think I made it. It's very bright there. It is almost reddish orange that pops out. Of course it doesn't, that is the thing with compartmentalize, or usually when I paint on different parts. So I many times tend not to see the whole thing when I'm painting, and therefore I can think that a color like there is much stronger or more potent than it really is. And of course that is not a good thing, because it then pops out like crazy. So yeah, but I think I need to let it dry. I hoped I was going to be finished today, and I might decide that I am, but I also think I'm going to let it dry and come back to it and adjust it a little bit more, maybe. It's very, well, I actually think it became quite nice, and it's kind of, yeah, I've been struggling so much with this that it's kind of a release. So see here too, I've been working in a little bit more. Of course it's not exactly as this in reality, so it can be a little bit cartoonish, but I think I can live with that. See how just since there's a lot of texture now, I can make all these lines just blur out so it looks a little bit more natural. This also became a very long video. Maybe I should make a video where I don't talk. We should. So, yeah. Shadow. Yeah, I think I will let it dry. And I will finish it then. Because then I can actually get in there and just do some very light lasure on top of the retouché vernis, and that will be much better. Yeah. Quite funny to working with these kind of making these small details here, letting this one go out. Some of it is kind of free, that I just see a shape and then I enhance it a little bit, and I'm not a slave to the motif. See now, the boom, let me get some more. Yeah, a little bit more depth, a little bit more, a little bit more. You go back and forth and back and forth. And this is time consuming. People always ask me how long it takes to paint a painting. And I fucking, honestly, I hate that question. Not because I don't want to tell them, but it's because it is totally relative. I've never experienced this one and this painting. I thought I was going to be able to finish it quite quickly, and then suddenly it turns into this project because I couldn't figure out exactly how to go about with the texture and stuff like that. So in a way I had to learn on a job, and I did learn a lot from this painting. I learned about that I link these things together I've done it before, of course, but in a somewhat different way, and it's really a great feeling being able to learn from something that is so objectively, the light of art history, insignificant. And this one is going to my patrons, and I feel an obligation to make it as beautiful as possible. Anyway, I will stop now, and I will, because when it has dried I can go in with some aquarellish reddish colors and bluish and just enhance it without going apeshit crazy on it, because I see some potential here and there. Yeah. Right now I really don't know what to do. Yeah, that was better. Tempting to take this one, the same motif, and blow it up in size and make it like this and just go really deep into detail. That could be fun. Maybe I'll do that. Anyway, the last layer will be the lasur. So, see, yeah. You see? Yeah. So, I'm gonna do a small touch-up. Just a tiny bit of color. Just gonna go in, put in some bright spots, like in here, and here. So to lighten it up a little bit. Some behind here. This. And some bluish here. Some blue. This is just, it's kind of a micro lasur. Just to bring it up a little bit. See, it gets a little bit more shape when I do that. But I don't want to go too far, because then I will start repainting stuff, and that is not what I'm doing now. I'm just doing what a tattooist would actually call a touch-up. So, you see now, it just gives it a little bit more depth, a little bit more punch. And yeah. So I'm going to place a couple of lights. I want some more light there. So, and this is dangerous because now if I do wrong now, I have a problem. So just want to touch, and that was a little bit too much white, so I'll give it a little bit orange. And yeah. So, and there, just a little bit more. Here, to give it some more shape. And I want to have it a little bit more right there. So, I think that made my day. So, and I'm gonna sign it, and that is always a problem when it's so small. Like, I prefer to sign it down here, but also when it's so small, it's, you know, almost better to sign it up here. I'm gonna try first down here. I'm just gonna write K. The best thing now, because of these small paintings, I just write my initials like K, AV, K, AV, 90, 18. So I'll do that. K dot A boom V and 18. Yeah, it could be. Might want to have it a little bit lower. Do I? No, I just do this. Okay, and I write my name, Vikshåland. From here, there's a dot there. Yes. Oh no, that was really bad. I think I have to just do the KIV because it becomes too big. So I just do this again. K, a little bit darker. K dot A dot and V. Horrible. So I should have kept the first one. And that's so funny because It's also with the lasur and touch-ups. You do a little bit too much and you start ruin it again. I'm just gonna do like this. Okay, now. Okay. Dot. A. Dot. We. 18. Strange how fast time goes. Two 2018. That doesn't look like an 18. Oh, this is so fucking hard. One, 8. Okay. Fan. Yeah, that's good. Put this, tone it down a little bit. Okay. Signed and ready to go. Okay. So, here it is. My first gift to my patrons. Dry rose, finished and ready to go. I worked my ass off with this. It took much more time than I thought. My paintings usually do, and I hope the lucky winner appreciated it. It's quite strange, the whole thing, but it became quite nice. When you see it in real life, it's actually better in real life. Yeah, I've been working with textures and everything, but you see that in the video. So I hope you can give my videos on YouTube a thumbs up, very important. Subscribe to my channel and put them into your playlists. If you put on notifications, you will get notifications when I'll put out a new video. And if you want to become a patron, you can do that. Because next month there will be a new painting of some new object. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but it will be a surprise. So, okay, thanks for watching, and until next time. Okay, I guess you came to the end of the video. If you want to support my channel, several ways you can do that. You can give a thumbs up, you can leave a comment, you can share it on social media. You can of course subscribe and put the notification bell on. It would really be great if you see the videos at once. You can also go to my Patreon and sign up as a patron. If you sign up to about $5, you will also be eligible to be in my Patreon giveaway every month, which is one small painting that is given to a patron. And you can support me whatever you like. As a patron, I will also help you personally with your painting, and you can also add me on Facebook, and I will engage you on a personal level. And yeah, that's what you get back by becoming a patron. So until next video, stay cool, keep painting, keep living, and happy days are coming to you.